Before we jump into the video, a quick shout out to the legends supporting the channel. Massive thanks to Aaron Oliver 5485, now Anime 712, and top tier supporter Alvin Bistline. If you want to support the channel, hit the join button below. Now, back to the story. What if Tensura system the most powerful in DxD? One day, a young man dies and finds himself floating in space. The god of void tells the boy that he died because of a mistake, so God will reincarnate him in the real world of an anime and begins his journey to become the most powerful in an anime world. Chapter 12. While the others were partying, I started working on Battlewheel and the hazy style within the barrier created by Raphael in my room. I had been working for a few hours, but I was already able to use the hazy style with ease. It is probably because of my passive skill, Master Swordsman. That is correct, Master. Your Master Swordsman skill not only shows that you are a master of the blade, but it also allows you to easily absorb and learn any sword technique. You can also convert a technique made with another weapon into a sword technique and use it. The real problem is using aura. I can use both arts, but since I do not know how to handle aura, it feels like something is missing. Other people are constantly applying magic power to their swords or their bodies. If only I could learn aura? At that moment, an idea struck me. Of course, these arts do not exist in this world, but Senjutsu does. If I can learn Senjutsu, I can perceive aura better and apply it to these arts. But this creates a new problem. Where can I learn Senjutsu? As far as I know, Koneko can use it, but she avoids using it because she is afraid of its power. Raphael, can I copy it with my Lucifer skill? Master, the skill Lucifer has a limitation. You need to see the skill or art being used in order to copy it. Therefore, you cannot copy it unless you see it executed. However, you can steal it with your Mammon skill. No, copying the skill is fine, but I will not steal it. I cannot steal from her like I did from Issei. After a while, I decided to sleep because I was tired, so I went to bed. The next morning, when I woke up, I felt pinned down, as if something was holding my arms and a weight was resting on my chest. I opened my eyes and discovered why I could not move. Kalawana was hugging my left arm, Sona in her pajamas was hugging my right arm, and Seafall was lying across my chest. Since all three were fast asleep, I did not want to disturb them, so I stayed still and waited. Master! Kalawana muttered in her sleep. Strange, I thought to myself. My brother is the best, Seafall mumbled next. Seafall really does not hide her feelings at all. Even her sleepy dream talk sounds the same as her normal voice. More macarons, Sona murmured softly. She really loves sweets. But she seems to be the only one not dreaming about me. Brother, feed me. Sona added a moment later. I take that back. After a short while, Seafall stirred and opened her eyes. Good morning, Seafall. Oh? Good morning, Noir-chan. How does it feel to share a bed with three beauties? Seafall asked in her usual cheerful tone. I am not sure. Maybe if it happens a few more times, I will understand how I feel, I said with a smile. My little brother has turned into quite the charmer, Seafall replied cheerfully, giving me a hug. Well, you are to blame for being so sweet. We spent a few moments chatting before I decided to ask a question that had been on my mind. Raphael, let me know if Sona or Kalawana start to wake up. Seafall, why did you give me the surname Leviathan? I answered that before, she said. I could tell from her reaction that she was hiding something. I am not a child anymore. When my powers awakened, I realized what I was capable of. Please do not keep hiding things from me. The truth is, something that should be impossible happened within your body. Normally, a devil belongs to whichever bloodline they are born into. But when you were born, I noticed a bloodline within you far superior to the Citri clan. Having fought the Leviathan clan many times in previous wars, I recognized that your lineage was identical to theirs, perhaps even purer, as if you were an original Leviathan. Our parents did not notice because they did not interact with the Leviathan clan as directly as I did. But no matter what, you are my brother. I gave you that surname because it is your right. With it, you can stand proud as a clan leader and face anyone who doubts you. When Sailfall finished her explanation, she looked down quietly. Thank you. Sailfall looked up in surprise. Why the sad face? Cheer up. I am not angry or sad. On the contrary, I am happy. Happy? Of course. You had the same idea I did. What do you mean? I wanted to re-establish the Leviathan clan in the future, but I was worried about how you would react. If you approve, then there is no reason for me to hesitate. There are currently 2 other surviving members of the Leviathan lineage, Kateria and Ingvald Leviathan. I will need to track them down to rebuild the clan properly, I thought. We stopped talking as Sona and Kalawarna began to wake up. When Sona realized she was hugging my arm, her face turned bright red, and she quickly left the room. After getting ready, I stepped into the hallway and found the small, white-haired Koneko standing nearby, seemingly waiting for someone. Koneko? Were you waiting for someone? I asked. Noir-senpai, can I talk to you privately for a moment? Of course. We walked down to the kitchen, since no one else was there, and sat across from each other at the table. Noir-senpai, why do you have a dragon aura? Koneko asked suddenly. Chapter 13. Why do I have a dragon aura? It is simple, I possess the boosted gear, I answered directly. But Noir-senpai, that aura belonged to Issei before. How do you have it now? Koneko asked, surprised that I answered so easily. I have a unique talent. Besides, there was no need to force a civilian into the supernatural world if it could be avoided, I explained. I see. By the way, Koneko, you sensed my aura earlier, correct? Yes. Could you show me a bit of yours? I am working on an aura-based martial art, but I do not fully grasp how aura works yet, so I cannot master it. Well, senpai, I use senjutsu, and it is? I am not forcing you to go all out. You do not need to show me everything, just a small demonstration. I suppose a small demonstration is fine, Koneko thought. She focused her energy and formed a small sphere of aura in her palm using senjutsu before quickly dispersing it. She finished quickly because she wanted to avoid transforming. Raphael, was the appraisal successful? Appraisal complete. Thank you, Koneko. Was that enough? She asked. More than enough. Is there anything I can get for you in return? Well. Senpai, do you have any of yesterday's desserts left? Sorry, Koneko, those were finished yesterday. Koneko looked disappointed. How about I bring some fresh sweets to school today? I can drop them off at the Occult Research Club room. Would you really do that, senpai? Of course. Thank you, senpai. Koneko bowed slightly and left the kitchen to prepare for school. Lucifer, copy senjutsu. Skill senjutsu successfully acquired. Raphael, analyze the skill and create a training routine tailored for me. I want to master it tonight. Understood. I began preparing breakfast and set the dining table. Once everyone gathered, we ate together and prepared for the day. I handed Kalawarna a shopping list for household supplies and reminded her to inform me if she ran into Mittelt again. Afterward, I used the remaining ingredients in the kitchen to make a fresh batch of desserts. Since I could use spatial movement to teleport, I was not worried about running late. Once the sweets cooled in the fridge, I teleported directly to the student council room. Inside the student council room, Sona was sitting at her desk, still feeling flustered from the morning. A magic circle appeared in the center of the room, and I stepped out. Noir, what are you doing? Why did you teleport here? Sona asked. I teleported so I would not be late for school. Is something wrong? You know why we walk to school instead of using teleportation magic, right? To spend time with your peerage on the way. That is one reason, but the primary reason is to blend in as ordinary humans. If we constantly teleported to school, human onlookers would become suspicious. That is why we travel like normal students. I understand. I will keep that in mind. I headed to class as the bell rang. The morning passed without incident. At noon, I teleported home, retrieved the desserts, and reappeared near the Occult Research Club building. I walked inside and knocked on the door. "Come in," Akino's voice called out. Inside, Rias was reviewing paperwork at her desk with Akino standing beside her. Kiba and Koneko were sitting on the couch. Koneko's eyes brightened as soon as she saw me. My, Noir-kun. What brings you here?" Akino asked smoothly. "I have a special delivery for Koneko." I handed the package of sweets to her. She looked up with excitement and gave me a quick hug. "Thank you, Noir-senpai." She sat back down on the sofa and happily began eating. My. It seems you have completely won Koneko over," Akino teased. Koneko flushed slightly, but remained focused on her dessert. "Noir-senpai, may I make a request?" Kiba asked, stepping forward. "What is it?" "Please spar with me." "Why the sudden request?" "Rias told me you are a skilled swordsman. I would like to test my skills against yours." "Fair enough. I accept." We walked out to the Kendo Club's training hall, selected a wooden sword each, and took our positions. A crowd of students quickly gathered around the perimeter to watch. "Ready." "Ready." Kiba closed the distance rapidly, maintaining a controlled speed suitable for an ordinary match rather than using his full devil abilities. As Kiba swung his practice sword, I activated my technique. Hazy style, rumbling of heaven and earth. I took a precise step back and launched an upward slash from below. As Kiba pulled back, I immediately followed with a downward strike. Kiba raised his sword just in time to block it. He managed to block a technique modeled after Gazelle Dwargo. Impressive. Of course, I held back my physical strength, or his wooden sword would have shattered. Hazy style, purple lightning thrust. Before Kiba could recover his stance, I executed a swift thrust against his grip. The sudden impact disarmed him, sending his wooden sword spinning to the floor, and I brought my blade to a stop inches from his chest. "Looks like that is match," I said with a friendly smile. "You are incredibly skilled, Noir-senpai," Kiba replied, catching his breath. I extended my hand and helped him back up. The surrounding students burst into cheers. "Look at them! The Prince of Light and the new Prince of Darkness side by side. They are both so cool." The crowd's enthusiasm made it difficult to leave, but we eventually made our way back to the Occult Research Club room. "Noir-senpai, what was that second technique?" Kiba asked. "It is a style I am currently developing. It is still incomplete." "I lost to an incomplete style," Kiba muttered, looking slightly disheartened. Chapter 14. Do not beat yourself up, Kiba. Speed alone will only take you so far. You need structure, strategy, and a deeper understanding of your weapon. A sword is not just a tool, it is an extension of your intent. If you do not know what you are fighting for, your blade will lack strength. Rely on your companions when you need to, and find your true purpose. My purpose? Kiba said quietly. That is something you will have to figure out for yourself. In any case, break is almost over, so I should head back to class. I left the clubroom and walked down the hallway. Raphael, can you synthesize skills right now? I can. Do I have the necessary components to create Black Flame? Analyzing. Confirmed. Proceed with the synthesis. Skill synthesis initiated. Fire manipulation and water manipulation have been successfully combined. Extra skill, Black Flame acquired. Now I just need a lightning element to develop Black Lightning later. I wonder how my flames will compare to Riser's when the time comes. Calawarna's POV. Noir-sama gave me a shopping list this morning. I did not recognize every item on it, but I made sure to buy everything required. I wore standard-made attire instead of my usual outfit so I would not draw unnecessary attention in public. I reached the produce section to look for the last two items, watermelon and cantaloupe. I wanted to make sure I selected good ones. I noticed a small note attached to the bottom of the list. If you are unsure, do not hesitate to ask someone nearby. People are generally helpful if you ask politely. Excuse me, could you help me pick out a good watermelon? I asked a woman standing beside me. Oh, hello. Of course, I would be happy to help, the woman replied with a smile. Mittelt's POV. What is Calawarna doing? What is with that outfit, and why is she running household errands? I watched her from across the street outside the grocery store. Should I report this to Rainer? No, I need more information first. Rainer hates false alarms, and I do not want to deal with her temper. Calawarna picked out her items, paid at the register, and headed out of the shopping district. I trailed her from a distance as she walked toward a quiet residential area. She eventually stopped in front of a large estate, unlocked the gate, and stepped inside. She never had a place like this before. Whose house is this? Mittelt, you can stop hiding now, Calawarna called out suddenly. She spotted me. I need to fall back. Do not bother running, Mittelt. You were talking to yourself the entire way here. Did you really think I would not notice? If you want to know who I am working for, come inside and wait. My master will be back shortly. Master? Who is your master, and why are you serving him? Come inside and see for yourself. Fine, but you better guarantee my safety. If Calawarna was calling this person her master, he had to be powerful. Very well. Just remember to be respectful. My master responds in kind. If you act politely, he will be reasonable. If you act hostile, he will respond accordingly. Understood. Noir's POV. Class is finished for the day. As I left the main school building, Calawarna contacted me mentally to inform me that Mittelt was at the house. It is time to deal with Mittelt. Let us see if she accepts my offer or chooses to be an enemy. I stepped into a quiet alleyway and used spatial movement to teleport home. A magic circle appeared in the main hall, and I stepped out into the room. Welcome home, Master, Calawarna said, bowing slightly. Thank you, Calawarna. Who is our guest? I am the fallen angel, Mittelt, she announced, puffing out her chest. I am Noir Leviathan. A devil? Calawarna, how could you serve a devil? You traitor! Mittelt exclaimed. Working under Rainer gained us nothing, Calawarna replied calmly. My master is far stronger than Rainer. He defeated me in battle, and I offered him my loyalty. He treats me well. I invited you here because I want you to join us. Serve my master, and he will treat you fairly too. Have you lost your mind? Mittelt snapped. He might have beaten you, but do you really think he can stand against me, Donaseek, and Rainer together? You can scratch Donaseek off that list, I said plainly. What? Why? He is dead. You cannot count on a dead man. When did that happen? Yesterday. He was not much of a challenge. That still does not prove anything. Sigh. Why make this difficult? I released a fraction of my aura, filling the room with overwhelming power. Mittelt froze, her eyes wide with shock. Mittelt, I will give you a choice, pledge your loyalty to me and become my follower. I take care of those who serve me. But if you refuse and choose to remain an enemy, we will not have this conversation next time. You can feel the difference in strength, right? Rainer does not possess even a fraction of my power. Mittelt swallowed hard, her confidence entirely gone. If I pledge my loyalty, what will you expect of me? Standard duties, but you will be treated with respect and given the means to become stronger. Besides, you are capable, so having you on my side is an asset. Mittelt's cheeks flashed slightly. All right. I agree. But you have to keep your word and treat me fairly. With her consent, I applied Soul Stamp to establish the pact, officially securing my second follower. Chapter 15. Kalawarna, help Mittelt get settled. I have training to complete, I said before heading back to my room. Raphael, is the Senjutsu routine ready? The program is fully prepared. You may begin whenever you are ready. I sat cross-legged on the floor, entering a state of deep meditation to begin mastering Senjutsu. Mittelt and Kalawarna's POV. All right, Mittelt. We need to tidy up the main area, Kalawarna said, gathering a few supplies. Wait a second. Which room am I staying in? Mittelt asked. You will be staying in the main room with me. Kalawarna pointed toward Noir's bedroom. Wait, isn't that Noir's room? According to the references I read online, a dedicated attendant should remain near her master at all times. Hold on. What kind of website were you reading? Mittelt asked, exasperated. Kalawarna pulled up the website on her phone to show her. Mittelt took one look at the strange advice and manuals on the screen and covered her face with her hand. Kalawarna, this is an instruction site for specialized drama roles, not real life. Mittelt groaned. Is it? I thought the guideline seemed very thorough, Kalawarna said, blinking innocently. Sigh. It looks like I am going to have to teach you how to handle household duties properly. Underworld. While I was training in my room and Mittelt was giving Kalawarna a crash course in household chores, Seafall and Surzex were meeting in the underworld. Surzex, what is on your mind? Seafall asked the Crimson Satan. Hello, Seafall. I called you here because I have a task I would like your brother to handle. Normally I would assign this to my sister, but I think your brother is better suited for it. From what I understand, he does not currently make standard contracts. My brother is not interested in routine contract work. He prefers focusing on his strength and fighting strong opponents, Seafall explained proudly. I support him completely. An ultimate class devil does not need to waste time on minor contracts. I agree. That is precisely why I want to offer him this assignment. We detected a stray devil in Kuo town, and I would like your brother to eliminate it. Besides, he still needs a familiar, doesn't he? I know. Sona and Riaz are planning to take him to the familiar forest during the next full moon anyway. Seafall picked up the document containing the stray devil's profile and scanned the contents. Weiss. This target seems quite weak. Is there a problem? Surzex asked. The problem is that this target poses no challenge at all. My brother prefers facing powerful opponents. He could handle a stray devil like this in his sleep. Then isn't this a good opportunity to observe his abilities firsthand? I suppose so. Riaz and Sona can observe his strength in action. That works out well, Surzex noted. I have been looking for a reliable and powerful ally that Riaz can trust. This is regarding her arranged marriage, isn't it? Yes. Even though it was arranged by my father and the head of the Phoenix family, I do not want my sister forced into a marriage she opposes. In that case, why don't we encourage Riaz and Noir to spend more time together? Seafall suggested with a smirk. The two Satan leaders shared a knowing look, already plotting behind their siblings' backs. Noir's POV. After hours of focused Senjutsu training, I successfully mastered the first stage of transformation, granting me complete control over my aura. With that foundation established, I activated my custom barrier and practiced both Battle Will and the Hazy style until I achieved complete mastery over both arts. When I activated transformation, my physical appearance shifted slightly. Two distinct horns emerged from my brow, my red eyes deepened in color, and my black hair took on an even darker shade, giving off a far more intimidating presence. However, Senjutsu naturally heightened my base instincts and emotions. A surge of intense competitive drive and combative energy welled up within me, making it difficult to maintain composure. Recognizing the strain, I deactivated the transformation and let my body return to normal. Raphael, is there a way to stabilize those emotional surges during transformation? Yes. The surge occurs because compressed energy needs an outlet. Engaging in intense physical combat or rigorous physical exertion will allow the built-up energy to dissipate naturally. I see. I will keep that in mind. Checking the clock, I saw that it was nearly time for dinner, so I stepped out of my room. Mittel was still in the living room showing Kalawana how to properly organize the house. It turned out Mittel was surprisingly knowledgeable about domestic work. I walked into the kitchen and began preparing the ingredients for dinner. Mittel walked in a few minutes later after finishing her explanation to Kalawana. Noir-sama, shouldn't we be preparing the food? Why are you doing it yourself? She asked. I enjoy cooking, it is a hobby of mine. Just because you are my followers does not mean I expect you to do everything. I prefer treating you like companions. Mittel flushed slightly at the comment. She helped set the table and stayed near the kitchen counter to watch me cook. She is actually quite pleasant to have around, I thought as I finished preparing the meal. Chapter 16. After a short while, the food was ready and the three of us sat down at the table. We served the dishes and began eating. Mittel and Kalawana loved the meal, and Mittel even admitted that she finally understood why I insisted on cooking myself. It made me genuinely happy to see them enjoying my food so much. Rainer's POV. Rainer was having a complete meltdown inside the abandoned church. First, the sacred gear vanishes, then I lose contact with Kalawana, followed by Donaseek, and now Mittel. What is going on? Where are they? Rainer screamed, kicking several wooden pews across the floor. It seems a new devil has made an appearance in town. I can practically smell it, a manic, white-haired man said, casually tapping the barrel of his gun against his chin. That man was Fried Selzen. I need to bring that girl here as soon as possible, Rainer muttered, trying to regain her composure. Once I secure Twilight Healing, at least I will have something to work with. Noir's POV. While individuals like Rainer, Seafall, and Surzex were busily making their plans, I was at home, enjoying a quiet meal with two beautiful fallen angels and taking life one day at a time. After all, the future will arrive when it arrives, so it is better to live in the present. Ah, that was incredible, Mittel said with a satisfied sigh after finishing her plate. Thanks. I am glad you liked it, I replied. Who wouldn't? That was the best meal I have ever had in my life. Kalawana quietly enjoyed her food beside us as we talked. Once we finished, we cleared the table, and it was time to turn in for the night. I headed to my room, changed, and got into bed. Mittel and Kalawana's POV. Now that the chores are done, I am going to sleep, Kalawana said, turning toward Noir's room. Wait a second. Didn't I just explain this to you? You cannot just wander into his room, Mittel protested. First of all, he is our master, so you should address him properly, Kalawana replied smoothly. Secondly, master has never complained. I think he enjoys the company, and I certainly prefer staying close to him. Without waiting for Mittel to respond, Kalawana opened the door and stepped inside. No man can resist his natural instincts when put in this position, Mittel thought to herself. Let us see how long he maintains that noble composure. Mittel followed her into the room. Kalawana had already gotten under the covers beside Noir. Feeling slightly competitive, Mittel settled on the other side of the bed. Noir's POV. The next morning, I woke up pinned down once again. Mittel had moved around constantly in her sleep, ending up sprawled across my chest with her arms wrapped tightly around my head, while Kalawana held my left arm. It took a few delicate maneuvers, but I managed to slip out from under them without waking either of them up. I dressed quietly, walked out to the living room, and sat on the sofa. A short while later, the bedroom door opened. Mittelt emerged in her usual outfit, followed by Kalawarna in her maid attire. He really didn't do anything at all while we were asleep, Mittelt thought, looking at me in slight disbelief. Is he truly that disciplined? After preparing breakfast for everyone, I put on my Kuo Academy uniform and set off for school. The morning passed like any other until break time arrived. Noir, could you step into the student council room during break? Sona asked as class wrapped up. Sure thing. When I walked into the student council room, I found both Sona and Riaz waiting alongside the council members. This document was forwarded to us by Sarah Fall, Sona said, handing me a file. Riaz and I will be observing your performance. I opened the folder. It contained details about a stray devil that had been preying on humans in the area. According to the report's assessment, the target's overall power was minimal. Sigh. I let out a low breath. Is something wrong? Sona asked. The issue is the target itself, I said, looking through the file with a bored expression. We did not see any issue with the assignment, Riaz noted. The issue is that this stray devil is incredibly weak. Could they really not find a stronger opponent for me? Just complete the objective. Surzek Summer specifically requested to observe a demonstration of your power, Sona explained. Yes, that is precisely why my brother appointed us to oversee it, Riaz added. Fair enough. I will handle it tonight. You are welcome to bring your peerages along if you want to watch, I said. With the plan set, we returned to our respective classes. The rest of the school day flew by. Before leaving for the meeting point, I instructed Mittelt and Kalawarna to accompany me as well. It was time to give everyone a proper look at what I could do. By nightfall, we gathered outside an abandoned building on the edge of town. Riaz and Sona had brought their full peerages, while I arrived with Kalawarna and Mittelt in tow. If everyone is here, we can proceed, I said. Why did you bring those two along? Riaz asked, looking at the fallen angel suspiciously. To let them see their master in action, of course. We stepped inside the dark structure. I smell something terrible, but also something sweet. I wonder which one you are, a distorted woman's voice echoed from the shadows. A figure stepped out from behind a stone pillar, the stray devil, Weiss. Are you the stray devil targeting civilians in this district? I asked plainly. My, look at all these visitors. How delicious do you taste, she sneered, pooling dark magical energy around her hands. I will take that as a yes. Frankly, I am not interested in dragging this out against someone at your level, but I suppose this will serve as a quick demonstration. Weiss gathered her magic to launch an attack, but I simply raised my right hand. Black flame. A wave of pitch-black fire erupted from my palm, surging across the room and engulfing the stray devil in an instant. What is this? It burns. Before she could complete her sentence, the black flames consumed her completely, leaving not even ashes behind. I turned back to the group. Everyone was standing frozen, staring at the empty space with wide eyes. What kind of magic was that? Riaz and Sona asked simultaneously. It is called Black Flame. It is a custom spell I synthesized recently. Nothing too complicated, but it gets the job done. I assume that satisfies the mission requirements. Why yes, absolutely, but... Sona stammered, still processing the speed of the elimination. I turned to Riaz's queen. Aquino, may I ask you a quick favor? Oh? Of course, Noir Kuan. What do you need? She asked, regaining her composure with a sly smile. Could you cast a lightning spell in my direction? The request caught everyone off guard. Who asks to be hit by lightning? Don't worry, I don't have any strange habits. I just want to try something interesting. My. If you insist, Aquino murmured. Yellow arcs of lightning began crackling around her hands, extending upward toward the ceiling. Dense storm clouds rapidly gathered above the roof, and a powerful lightning strike came crashing down toward me. Beelzebub. The massive bolt of lightning hit an invisible barrier in front of me and was instantly absorbed into nothingness. Notification: lightning element acquired. Raphael, initiate skill synthesis. Synthesizing lightning element, water magic, and devil magic. Synthesis complete. Extra skill, black lightning acquired. Thank you for waiting. Now let me show you the updated version. Black lightning. I gestured upward, and an instantaneous strike of jet black lightning descended from the heavens. It was far faster and drastically more destructive than the previous spell. The shockwave tore through the upper section of the abandoned building, obliterating the concrete structure in a single strike. The entire group stood speechless. Akino's eyes, in particular, were wide with intense curiosity as she stared at the dark residual energy crackling in the air. Chapter 17. So, what do you think of black lightning? I asked, turning back to the group. That was remarkably powerful, Akino said, her interest clearly piqued. As the primary lightning user in the group, she was naturally drawn to the spell. Since she actively avoided using her fallen angel light magic, seeing a pure, devastating variant of elemental lightning was deeply fascinating to her. What kind of power was that? I have never seen anything like it, Riaz said, studying the scorched ground. Is it a sacred gear ability? No, it comes from one of my core abilities called synthesis. It allows me to combine different magic types to create brand new spells. Does that mean others cannot learn it? Akino asked. Not directly through the system, but I can certainly teach you the principles behind it if you want. My. Really? Of course. Working on spellcraft together sounds like fun, I said with a bright smile. Notice, a massive energy signature is approaching your location at extreme speed. My expression shifted immediately. I need to leave right now. None of you follow me. I am serious. Before anyone could ask questions, I unleashed my aura and rocketed into the sky, heading toward an uninhabited wasteland outside the city limits. As I touched down on the barren dirt, a beam of pitch-black energy descended from the clouds like a falling meteor. Boom! The impact carved a massive crater into the earth, sending up a thick wall of dust and debris. As the smoke cleared, a young girl with long black hair and dark eyes stepped out from the center of the crater. You there, young Leviathan, she said in a quiet, emotionless voice. Are you talking to me? I asked, keeping my guard up. Yes. You possess great power. I want to invite you to join my faction. First of all, who are you? And what faction are you talking about? My name is Ophis. My faction is the Chaos Brigade. Now that introductions are made, join my faction. Ophis? The Ouroboros Dragon? The Infinite Dragon King. I am honored by the invitation, but I must decline, I replied politely. Why? Ophis asked, tilting her head with a genuinely confused expression. She clearly was not used to hearing the word no. Simply put, I have no interest in joining any faction or serving under anyone else. Why refuse? Even if you join my faction, you can maintain your freedom. I only require your assistance for a specific goal. Why would someone as powerful as you need help from anyone? Because I want to reclaim my silence, Ophis stated simply. I want to return to my home, and I formed a faction to accomplish that. I understand your goal, but my answer remains the same. I prefer to carve my own path and grow stronger on my own terms without taking orders from others. If it is strength you seek, I can grant it to you easily. Just join my faction, Ophis persisted. I don't believe in taking shortcuts to gain power. Real strength comes from one's own efforts. Ophis puffed her cheeks slightly in frustration. You are being difficult. She is surprisingly expressive for an ancient dragon king, I thought. I won't join your faction, but we can be friends if you like. Friends? What is that? Friends are people who support each other, spend time together, and help one another out when needed without contract or obligation, I explained. So if we become friends, will you help me even if you are not in my faction? That depends. Who are you trying to reclaim your home from? From that noisy red dragon. The red dragon? You mean the Great Red? Yes. That nuisance. I will be honest with you, with my current level of power, I cannot fight Great Red. I know. That is why I am gathering allies. Then let us start as friends instead of faction members. How does that sound? Ophis considered the offer for a moment before nodding slightly. Very well. That is acceptable. In that case, would you like to come to my house to celebrate our new friendship? I can cook something for you. I do not require sustenance. Friends enjoy sharing meals together regardless. Come along, and I will show you where I live. I extended my hand toward her. Ophis looked at my hand, then reached out and took it. All right. While keeping my expression neutral, I sent a quick mental message to Kalawana and Mittelt, stay at Sona's place tonight and do not return home until tomorrow. Walking in on the Dragon of Infinity sitting in the living room would probably give both of them a heart attack. I activated a spatial teleportation circle beneath us. Ophis looked down at the glowing geometric design with genuine curiosity. Normally, magic circles bear the crest of a devil clan or a specific dragon house, but mine was a pure, unbranded array. This teleportation array is unusual, Ophis observed. I designed it myself. That is probably why it looks different from standard devil circles. You created it yourself. A spark of genuine interest appeared in her dark eyes as she looked up at me. Yes. Now then, let us head inside. Feel free to make yourself comfortable in the living room while I cook. I will watch. Ophis followed me into the kitchen and stood by the counter, watching intently as I prepared dinner and set a few desserts in the fridge to cool. Once everything was ready, I plated the food and set it on the table before her. She took a small, hesitant bite, but her eyes lit up almost instantly. She began eating at a rapid pace. Take it easy, there is plenty of food to go around. Nobody is going to take it from you. Ophis slowed her pace slightly, finishing her plate before moving on to second and third helpings until the entire pot was empty. Did you enjoy it? I asked with a chuckle. It was exceptional. Will you make this for me again? Whenever you like. Then I will live here from now on, Ophis stated matter-of-factly. Wait, what? Chapter 18. Ophis, why the sudden decision to move in? I asked, taken aback. Because your food is excellent, and I want to eat it every day, she replied, as if stating the most obvious fact in the universe. Fair enough. You can stay. There was really no point in trying to argue with the Dragon of Infinity. If I refused, she would simply show up unannounced anyway. However, if you are going to live here, we need a few ground rules, I continued. First, no destroying the house or harming the other residents. Second, you must keep your presence concealed so we do not attract every faction in the world to our doorstep. Third, if someone attacks the house, you help protect it. And finally, if you hold meetings with the Chaos Brigade, do it elsewhere, not in this house. Can you agree to those terms? Ophis gave a firm nod. All right then. Welcome home. You can just call me Noir. Noir, she repeated softly. Yes? Noir. I am just testing the word. She repeated my name a few more times under her breath. Noir, what is this device? She asked, pointing toward the large screen in the living room. That is a television. It displays broadcasts, recorded media, and animated shows called anime. Ophis stared at the screen with intense curiosity. Can we watch it? Of course. I sat down on the sofa, picked up the remote, and selected a popular series. Ophis sat beside me, completely absorbed in the screen. As the hours passed, she remained entirely focused on the show while I relaxed on the couch, enjoying the quiet atmosphere. Before we knew it, midnight had long passed. Office, it is getting late, and I have school tomorrow. I am heading to bed. Are you going to stay up? Office thought it over for a long moment, the longest I had ever seen her deliberate over anything. I will sleep as well. You can take any of the guest rooms down the hall. I walked back to my room, changed into comfortable clothes, and climbed under the covers. A moment later, the door creaked open, and Office walked in. She crossed the room, pulled back the duvet, and settled right on top of the bed beside me, resting her head on my chest. Office? Why aren't you in one of the guest rooms? You said I could choose any room I wanted. I chose this one. Knowing it was useless to argue logic with an ancient dragon, I simply pulled the duvet over both of us, and we went to sleep. Sona's house. Meanwhile, Kalawana and Mittel were sitting quietly on the sofa in Sona's residence, looking noticeably downcast. Sona sat across from them, equally quiet. I am simply not strong enough, Sona thought to herself. Shortly after Noir had departed earlier that evening, she had felt that massive surge of energy in the distance. Even from miles away, the sheer gap in power was overwhelming. Although Noir had sent a brief message assuring them he was safe, the realization of her own limitations weighed heavily on her. I need to ask my sister to help me train, Sona decided. I refuse to stand by helplessly next time. Master always steps forward to handle danger himself, Kalawana thought silently. Even if I cannot assist him in battle yet, I must make sure I support him properly at home. Mittel was thinking along similar lines. Sensing that immense aura earlier had made her realize just how much danger Noir had drawn away from them. Her respect for him had grown significantly, even if his disciplined demeanor still puzzled her. Ria's and Akino's POV. Tonight was full of surprises, Ria's thought as she looked out her bedroom window. Those custom spells Noir created, the black flames and black lightning, were exceptionally powerful. And that massive energy signature earlier, it felt as if it could have leveled the entire city in an instant. I am just relieved Noir made it back safely. I am glad Noir is all right, Akino thought, staring at her palm as small sparks of lightning danced across her fingers. His variant of lightning magic was incredible. I would much rather master a technique like his than rely on the light abilities tied to my father. Chapter 19. The next morning, I woke up to find Office still sound asleep with her head resting against my chest. After a few moments, she slowly opened her eyes. Good morning, I said gently. Morning. She mumbled softly, clearly taking her time to fully wake up. I carefully got out of bed and headed into the bathroom to get ready for school. A minute later, the door clicked open, and Office walked in, holding a small towel. Noir, help me wash my hair, she said in her usual flat tone. All right, hold on a second. I wrapped a towel securely around her shoulders and set her down on a small stool by the vanity. I gently rinsed her long black hair, applying shampoo and massaging her scalp. A subtle, content smile appeared on her face as she closed her eyes. Once we were finished, I dried her hair with a fresh towel, and we both changed into our day clothes. I put on my Kuo Academy uniform while Office watched from the doorway. Where are you going? She asked. To school. I want to come too. Her eye sparkled with genuine curiosity. You can't wear your usual outfit if you are coming to a human school, I explained, pulling up a digital image of the Kuo Academy uniform on my phone. You need to look like a student. Office looked at the image on the screen, and with a soft shimmer of magic, her clothing transformed into a perfectly tailored version of the school uniform. How is this? It suits you very well, I admitted with a smile. I packed the fresh batch of sweets I had made for Koneko, picked up my bag, and opened the front door. Office didn't feel like walking, so she motioned for me to carry her, which I didn't mind. Anyone passing us on the street assumed I was simply giving my younger sister a ride on the way to class. We arrived at the school grounds well before the morning bell. I sent a quick message to Kalawana and Mittel, asking them to bring Sona to the Occult Research Club room, as it was much larger than the student council office. When we stepped into the club room, Koneko was sitting on the couch, looking unusually tense. But the moment she saw me walk in with Office in my arms, her expression softened, and she immediately ran over to give me a hug. "Senpai, are you all right?" Koneko asked, holding onto my shoulder. My, Noir-kun. "It is good to see you unharmed," Akino said, stepping forward. "We were worried after feeling that energy last night," Rias added. "Don't worry, everything is fine," I reassured them. "Senpai, who is this girl?" Koneko asked, looking at Office with a tilted head. "I will explain everything in a moment once the others arrive." I sat down on the large sofa, letting both Koneko and Office settle comfortably beside me while I patted their heads. A few minutes later, the door opened, and Sona, Tsubaki, Kalawana, and Mittel walked in. The moment Kalawana saw me, her face lit up, and she came over to offer a warm greeting. Sona stood slightly behind her, maintaining her usual composed posture, though the relief in her eyes was obvious. Once everyone took a seat, I cleared my throat to address the room. Ahem. First of all, the reason I departed so suddenly last night was because an exceptionally large energy signature was approaching the city. Second, I would like to introduce the newest resident of our household, Office. I gestured to the girl sitting quietly beside me. The entire room went dead silent. Everyone's eyes widened in sheer disbelief. Noir, when you say Office, do you mean the Dragon of Infinity? Rias managed to ask, her voice barely above a whisper. The Ouroboros dragon. Sona added, her usual composure completely shattering. That is correct. Office leaned against my side, completely unbothered by the dramatic reactions around her. I walked them through the events of the previous night, leaving out a few personal details, and explained that Office would be staying at the house under set ground rules. Kalawana and Mittel looked at each other in utter disbelief. Mittel quietly thanked her lucky stars that she had chosen to align with me, realizing that any conflict with our household would have ended terribly for Rainer's group. Once the explanation was finished and the confusion settled, I stood up with Office. Well, class is about to start. Office and I will head over to the student council office for now so she can relax until break. I handed Koneko her box of homemade sweets, causing her face to light up instantly. Enjoy the treats, Koneko. Thank you, Na-senpai, she said happily. With that, Office and I headed down the hallway toward the student council room to start the day. Chapter 21. After resting together in the infirmary for a few hours, Sona eventually ran out of energy and drifted off to sleep. I lay quietly under the covers, gently stroking her hair as she rested peacefully against my chest. After a while, Sona slowly opened her eyes. As she looked up at me, her face turned bright red. Realizing how close we were, she quickly looked down, feeling too shy to meet my gaze. Don't be shy, I said with a warm smile. You were very brave earlier. Did we really do that? Sona whispered nervously. Do what? Do I really have to say it out loud? Sona replied, hiding her face. Ha ha ha. Fine, fine. Yes, we did. And you are officially my girlfriend now. Sona's face flushed even deeper, and she wrapped her arms tightly around me. After cuddling silently for a moment, she lifted her head, an earnest expression on her face. If you want to ask me something, go ahead, I told her. You can ask me for anything in the world, except breaking up, because I am never letting you go. It isn't that, Sona said softly. I just wanted to ask for your help with an issue. What is it? You know that Rias has a fiancé, right? She really does not want this arranged marriage, and I want you to help her. Why doesn't she just tell her father, her mother, or her brother that she doesn't want to go through with it? Her father is a clan head, and her older brother is a Mao. In Sona's case, Seafall and I had been fully prepared to step in if Sona hadn't defeated her original fiancé herself to break off their engagement. If Sona had told Seafall she didn't want to get married, Seafall would have ended the arrangement instantly. Her siblings are her absolute top priority, above everything else in the underworld. Noir, things are not that simple, Sona explained patiently. Riaz and I are the future heirs of our respective clans. We cannot simply risk our family's political future on a personal whim. I see. I suppose I don't fully understand your political arrangements. To me, logic is simple. If you don't want something, you don't do it and you say no. If you want something, you go after it. I wish we could solve every problem with that kind of logic, Sona sighed. In any case, Riaz's fiancée, Riza Phoenix, is pressing to hold the wedding as soon as possible, and Riaz's options are running out. If this continues, she will be forced to challenge him in a rating game. And if that happens, Riaz will lose, I said flatly. How could you know that? Sona asked, surprised. I have watched a few rating games before. Riaz's peerage shares very strong emotional bonds with one another. While that is great for teamwork, the moment one member falls in battle, it creates a domino effect that collapses the entire group. Furthermore, Riaz only has 3 members in her peerage. Riza has a full team of 16. Each of her members would have to defeat at least 5 opponents without falling once. On top of that, as members of the Phoenix family, they have access to Phoenix tears. Just a single vial can instantly reverse the momentum of an entire match. You are completely right, Sona admitted. That is precisely why I am asking for your help. Well, since this request comes from my lovely Sona, I will accept. I will even crash the wedding itself if you want me to. We lay together for a little while longer until Sona's work ethic kicked in. We both got dressed and returned to the student council room. The moment we walked in, I noticed Ophir sitting on the sofa, pouting in an unusually sour mood. Though her face remained largely expressionless, I could practically see dark storm clouds floating above her head. Ophis? Did I make you wait too long? Humph, she huffed, turning her head away. I felt as if metaphorical arrows had just pierced my chest. I am really sorry, Ophis. How can I make it up to you? When she didn't answer, I remembered her love for food. I pulled out a box of homemade sweets from my inventory and held them out to her. Ophis immediately hopped onto my lap and began eating the treats, though her mood hadn't fully recovered yet. Hug me, she demanded quietly. I wrapped one arm around her waist while gently patting her head with the other. Gradually, the dark storm clouds above her dissipated, and she continued enjoying her sweets with a contented expression. Having a dragon king pout at you is more terrifying than divine punishment, I thought to myself with a smile. Since regular classes were dull, I decided to spend the rest of the day keeping Ophis company. With Riaz's permission, we hung out in the occult research club room. I turned on the television, and Ophis sat happily in my lap, completely entranced by the shows while munching on snacks. Ara tilde noir Kuan, right now you look just like Ophis-sama's father or big brother, Akino teased with a sly smile. HM? Papa. Ophis murmured, turning her head toward me. She was remarkably adorable, but I quickly suppressed those thoughts. If anyone overheard this out of context, they would misunderstand completely, oblivious to the fact that Ophis was an ancient, eternal entity. Never mind, Ophis. Just keep watching your show, I chuckled softly. When school ended, I carried Ophis in my arms as we made our way back home. However, I had no idea what was awaiting us at the front door. Chapter 22. When Ophis and I arrived home from school, Mittled opened the door to greet us. We stepped inside, and I went straight to my bedroom to change out of my school uniform. Ophis had already changed her outfit instantly using magic. While I could easily do the same, relying on magic for mundane tasks felt unnecessary, so I changed normally before returning to the living room. I found Ophis standing completely still in the middle of the room like a statue. Ophis, when I ask you to wait, you don't have to stand there motionless, I said with a light laugh. You can sit on the couch. You live here now, so make yourself at home. I know, she replied simply. I just wanted to wait for you. I sat down on the sofa, and Ophis promptly climbed onto my lap. Ever since we walked through the door, Mittelt had looked as though she was burning to ask a question. Mittelt, if you have something on your mind, just ask, I said. Noir-sama, do you prefer younger girls, or do you only like women with large chests? Mittelt blurted out. Where did that question even come from? I asked, taken aback. And how did you arrive at that conclusion? Because you never pay attention to me or touch me. Mittelt protested. You seem much closer with Kalawana and Office-sama. I'm neither a little girl nor do I have a huge chest, so I thought that was why. What makes you think I am closer to Kalawana? If you are referring to this morning, she was the one holding onto my arm. When I woke up this morning, Kalawana was right next to you, while I was lying far away on the other side of the bed as if you had pushed me away. Mittelt explained, crossing her arms. And you never tried anything with me during the night. Sigh. Mittelt, do you have any idea how much you toss and turn in your sleep? You were moving around so much that I nearly suffocated when I woke up, so I gently moved you to the side. As for touching you at night, I am not the type of person to take advantage of a sleeping girl. But if you ask me while you are awake, I would be happy to show you a heavenly experience, I added with a playful, teasing smile. Oh? Noir, you are a devil, but can you send people to heaven? Office asked, looking up from my lap. I had completely forgotten how literal and innocent Office could be. I want to go too, Office added plainly. Nah, send me to heaven as well. I rubbed my temples. Explaining abstract metaphors to an ancient dragon who looks like a young girl was an absolute social nightmare. All right, all right. I will take you somewhere nice one day, okay? I said quickly. Office nodded, satisfied with the answer, and turned her attention back to the television screen. Office, you keep watching TV while I go prepare dinner. Office slid off my lap, and I walked into the kitchen. Mittelt followed close behind my heels. Noir-sama, are you really going to take her to heaven? Mittelt whispered anxiously. I am hoping she forgets all about it by tomorrow, I admitted. Then why did you agree in the first place? Mittelt, Office may look small, but she is the Ouroboros dragon, one of the most powerful beings in existence. Would you say no to her? Point taken, Mittelt muttered. To answer your earlier question, Mittelt, I appreciate beauty in all its forms. You are cute, charming, and fun to be around. Don't ever think I don't find you attractive. Mittelt's cheeks turned bright red. I am going to go check on Office-sama, she stammered, making a hasty exit from the kitchen. I smiled as I began preparing the meal. Given Office's massive appetite, calling her the gluttonous dragon felt far more accurate than the dragon of infinity. I cooked a generous spread of dishes, and a short while later, Kalawana walked through the front door. Welcome back, Kalawana. Where were you? I asked. Noir-sama, I spoke with Rainier, Kalawana reported. The girl she manipulated is arriving in Kuo tomorrow. Additionally, an excommunicated, manic exorcist has begun hunting devils and anyone making deals with them in the area. I see. What do you both think I should do regarding Rainier? Noir-sama, Rainier is stronger than us, so she could be a useful asset, Kalawana offered. I agree, Mittelt added. I am not just asking about combat power. What practical value can Rainier bring to our household? Rainier has access to information that we cannot easily reach, Kalawana explained thoroughly. She has connections within the church, among the fallen angels, and across various faction networks. She is skilled at tactical planning, and while her personality can be cruel, I am confident you can keep her in line. That is exactly the information I needed, I said. In that case, I will make arrangements to bring Rainier under our banner. After finishing dinner, we retired to my bedroom for the night. Kalawana settled on my right side, holding my arm comfortably, while Mittelt curled up on my left side. Office followed us in, resting her head peacefully on my chest as I lay on my back. Reflecting on my past, this house felt strange yet wonderfully peaceful. I was no longer sleeping alone. I was surrounded by people who cared about me, and I knew our family would only continue to grow. The next morning, I called Ku Academy to report that I was feeling unwell so I could take the day off. The Chaos Brigade had briefly summoned Office for a meeting, leaving me free to explore the town. While walking near the local park, I noticed a young girl wandering around with a bewildered expression, clearly lost. She had brilliant golden hair and wore the traditional robes of a nun. "Hello there, sister. Have you lost your way?" I asked gently, stepping up behind her with a warm smile. "Kaya," she gasped, startled. "I am so sorry. I didn't mean to surprise you." "Oh, no. It's my fault for getting jumpy," she replied hurriedly. "I was trying to find the local church, but I seem to have lost my way. Could you help me?" "Of course. You can call me Noir." "Thank you, Noir-san. My name is Aisha Argento." Chapter 23. "It is a pleasure to meet you, Aisha," I said. "Likewise, Noir-san." I offered to walk Aisha to her destination. As we strolled down the street, I decided to ask her a question. "Aisha, do you believe that any race is inherently evil? As a nun, I assume you are taught about devils and fallen angels, so I hope my question doesn't sound too strange." "Not at all," Aisha answered gently. "I do not believe any race is born evil." "Really? Even devils?" "Yes, even devils. No one gets to choose how they are born, but everyone can choose how they live their life. That is why I believe innate evil does not exist." She smiled with pure, genuine warmth. Shortly after, we arrived at the coordinates of the church. The structure was completely dilapidated, with crumbling masonry and overgrown weeds. It seemed impossible that anyone had summoned her to an abandoned building, but as an excommunicated nun, Aisha was far too innocent to realize she was walking into a trap. "Are you certain this is the correct place, Aisha?" I asked, looking at the rundown building. "It appears entirely abandoned." "Yes. It matches the picture I was sent perfectly," Aisha replied cheerfully. Her absolute innocence was almost concerning. "Noir-san, would you like to come inside with me? I am not much of a believer, so I don't think it would be appropriate for me to enter." "Don't worry, Noir-san. God is forgiving. As long as you have a good heart, He will welcome you." Hearing a nun invite a devil into a church while praising God's forgiveness took immense willpower not to laugh out loud. "All right, I will accompany you inside, but don't expect me to pray." The interior was in even worse shape than the exterior, covered in thick dust and cobwebs. Well. You must be my new assistant, right, little nun?" a manic voice echoed from the shadows. A white-haired man in an exorcist uniform stepped forward, a wild grin on his face. "And look at that, you even brought a target for me to execute on your very first day." "Who are you?" I asked casually. "I am Fried Selzen, an exorcist sent to cleanse this town." "Father Fried, what are you talking about?" Aisha asked, horrified. "You told me you were an expelled priest who wanted my help to rejoin the church. Did you lie to me? God does not forgive liars." "Little nun, an exorcist's job is to eradicate devils. That is how I will earn my way back into the church's good graces." Fried drew a pistol and a specialized hilt, activating a blade of bright, crackling light that closely resembled a sci-fi light sword. "Noir-san is not a devil," Aisha argued desperately. "Devils cannot enter a holy church, right?" "Ha ha ha. I can smell him from here, little nun. He is 100% devil." "Noir-san, is that true?" Aisha asked, looking at me with wide eyes. Sigh. I wasn't planning on keeping it a secret. "Yes, Aisha, I am a devil. My name is Noir Leviathan." "Ha ha 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 ha. I knew it." Fried cackled hysterically. Suddenly, a purple magic circle expanded across the ceiling, and a woman descended from the light. With her raven hair and black wings, she matched the description Kalawana had given me perfectly. Rainair. You must be Rainair, I noted. Oh? Have you heard of my reputation? She sneered. Kalawana and Mittel mentioned you. But tell me, what is a fallen angel doing hiding in a ruined church? That is none of your concern. More importantly, what happened to my subordinates? Mittel and Kalawana are my servants now, and Donasuk is dead because he attacked me first. What did you say? Before Rainair could process the news, 2 more magic circles flashed, and Kalawana and Mittel materialized beside me. Mittel! Kalawana! As your leader, I order you to capture this man. Rainair commanded. Rainair, didn't you hear, Master? Mittel replied calmly. We serve Narsama now. Why would we attack our own master? Kalawana added smoothly. Did you brainwash them? Rainair yelled. If I kill you, the spell will break. Freed shrieked, sprinting toward me with his light sword raised. I stepped in front of Kalawana and Mittel, standing completely still as Freed thrust the glowing blade directly at my chest. Clang! The light sword struck my skin and shattered into sparks, unable to leave even a scratch. Chapter 24. My combination of physical damage resistance, holy attribute resistance, and elemental resistance performed flawlessly. Holy light could neither penetrate my skin nor cause me harm. Freed and Rainair stared at me in complete shock. Dropping the broken hilt, Freed drew his pistol and emptired the magazine into my chest, but the bullet simply flattened against my skin and fell to the floor. I am not a low-class devil, I said with a calm smile. I am an ultimate-class devil. You ultimate class? Rainair gasped, stepping back in fear. Realizing he was completely outmatched, Freed pulled a smoke bomb from his belt. Boss, if you survive this, see you around, he shouted, slamming the bomb onto the floor and vanishing into the cloud. He didn't realize that I had already placed a tracking mark on him the moment he stepped close. I could locate him whenever I wished. I turned back toward Aisha and found her unconscious in Kalawana's arms. Noir-sama, she fainted from shock when Freed attempted to attack you, Kalawana reported. Take Aisha back to the house and let her rest. I will rejoin you shortly. Understood, Master. Kalawana activated a teleportation circle and vanished with Aisha. I turned my attention back to Rainair, who was looking at me with a mixture of terror and wild panic. So, Rainair, what should we do with you now? I asked pleasantly. You're going to break my spirit and turn me into your puppet, aren't you? She yelled, her imagination running completely wild as she babbled off an absurd list of dark scenarios she assumed an ultimate-class devil would inflict on her. Are you finished? I interrupted, letting out an annoyed sigh. Mittel, is she always like this? Honestly, Noir-sama, I had no idea she had such a dramatic flair for catastrophe, Mittel admitted, shaking her head. Hey! I can hear both of you. Rainair snapped, her face turning red. Let us keep this simple, I said, stepping closer. Your choices are straightforward, become my servant or perish here. I would never betray Azazel-sama. Rainair declared stubbornly. You aren't working for Azazel, I replied calmly. You are taking orders from Kokabiel, and Kokabiel is actively plotting against Azazel. Rainair froze. What? Think about it logically. Why would Azazel order you to hunt sacred gear wielders in Kuo, a territory governed directly by the heirs of the Gremri and Citri clans? He wouldn't. Kokabiel is using you as disposable pawns to provoke a war. The realization hit Rainair like a lightning bolt. Every order she had received came through Kokabiel, not Azazel. She had been manipulated from the very beginning. If you join me, I will help you settle the score with Kokabiel, I offered. Rainair hesitated for a moment before looking up at me. All right. I will join you. A wise decision. I applied my soul stamp to her, establishing a spiritual link between us. With the contract sealed, we returned home. Noir's house. Welcome back, Noir-sama, Kalawana greeted us at the door. Aisha is still sleeping peacefully. Thank you, Kalawana. I will prepare dinner for everyone. Rainier watched me suspiciously as I walked into the kitchen. Is he really cooking dinner himself? She thought. Does he use enchanted food to control people? Notice, Rainier suspects you are using enchanted food to manipulate the household, Raphael informed me mentally. To be honest, even I am curious about your cooking, Drake chimed in from within the sacred gear. It is frustrating that I cannot taste it without a physical body. How about this, Drake? I thought back. One day I will synthesize a physical body for you, but in exchange, you join my inner circle permanently. Deal. Having a physical body is worth any agreement, Drake agreed readily. Raphael, log the agreement and begin scanning Drake's soul signature. Notice, scan initiated. Rainier, instead of standing in the doorway, come help me in the kitchen, I called out. Rainier stepped forward nervously. What do you need me to do? Start by washing and chopping the vegetables for the salad. Rainier picked up a tomato, formed a blade of light in her hand, and prepared to slice it. Hold on. I stopped her quickly. What are you doing with a light blade? Didn't you tell me to cut them? Use a kitchen knife, I said, pointing to the knife block on the counter. Rainier put away her magic, picked up a chef's knife, and sliced the tomato into giant quarters, dropping them straight into the bowl. Rainier, have you ever made a salad before? No, she admitted, blushing with embarrassment. There is no shame in admitting when you don't know something. Cooking is a skill you learn. Here, let me show you. I stood beside her and demonstrated how to properly wash the produce, hold the knife safely, and slice the vegetables evenly. I guided her through the steps until the rest of the meal was ready. And that is how you prepare a salad, I said with a smile. You ended up doing most of it, she mumbled softly. Then you can handle the salad for dinner tomorrow. Deal. Rainier carried the salad bowl to the dining table, her mind racing. Why is he being so kind to me? I tried to fight him, and I am a fallen angel. Aren't devils supposed to despise us? Noir-sama doesn't care about racial divides, Kalawana said, noticing Rainier's confused expression. Mittelt and I stay here because we genuinely care for Noir-sama and love this household. To him, species doesn't matter, only whether you consider us family. Family. Rainier repeated softly. Indeed. And those aren't just his words, his older sister expressed the exact same sentiment. His older sister? Say a fall Leviathan. Rainier's eyes went wide, and she promptly fainted from sheer shock, slumping onto the couch. A moment later, Aisha walked out of the guest room, rubbing her eyes in confusion. Are you feeling better, Aisha? I asked gently. Narsan? Where am I? You don't need to worry about anything right now. Dinner is ready, so let us sit down and talk over a good meal. Tea, thank you very much. I woke Rainier up, and we all gathered around the dining table. Though Aisha and Rainier were hesitant at first, the moment they tasted the food, their reservations vanished completely. It was quite a sight, 3 fallen angels, a nun, and a devil, all enjoying dinner together at the same table like a family. Chapter 25. Time passed quickly as everyone ate happily and hungrily. Then the table was cleared and we went into the living room. Well, I can tell from your facial expression that you have questions. Just ask, I said with a smile. Then Noir-san, are you really a devil? Aisha asked. Yep, 100%. What is your purpose in Kuo? Rainier asked. I have many purposes, like protecting my sister, having fun, enjoying school life, getting stronger, and so on. Will you hurt people? Aisha asked. I do not touch those who do not touch me. I will kill anyone who tries to harm the people I love, I answered. Well, you said your name is Leviathan. Then are you a noble devil? Rainier asked. Not exactly. It is a bit of a mess, but my ancestry is exactly Leviathan, and one of my goals is to bring back the Leviathan clan. How is it complicated? Raina asked. Aisha-chan, you cannot tell anyone what you heard here, okay? Okay, I will not tell anyone. I promise. Afterwards, I told them that I was expelled when I was born, my sister raised me, and the evolution of my bloodline. Aisha did not quite understand as she did not know much, but the facial expressions of Rainier and the others were constantly changing. Of course, I did not mention the system, my powers, or the Demon Lord seed. Yes, now that I have said everything, Aisha-chan, do you want to join my peerage? Who? Raphael, can you make all the evil pieces mutate? Raphael confirmed. Do it. All the pieces were in the stomach of my Beelzebub skill, and Raphael had access to it. Notice, all the evil pieces have successfully mutated and evolved. Aisha-chan, I actually want you to be in my peerage. She stayed silent. Do not worry, I am not forcing you, the choice is yours. You can think and decide. But if you want, I can erase your memories of the supernatural world and you can live a normal life. Please do not erase my memories, Noir-san, Aisha said softly. Do not worry, it is your choice, I am just giving you options. If you want, you can join my peerage and I will protect and empower you. If you want, you can live away from the supernatural world. So you have options, I am not forcing you to do anything, I said with a gentle smile. Can I think about it then? Of course. By the way, Aisha-chan, why were you excommunicated from the church? That is. Then Aisha told us why she was excommunicated, being declared a witch because she could heal a devil. Rainier, where did you hear about Aisha-chan? I have a network of information in many places, and a devil said there was a nun who had twilight healing but was kicked out of the church. Weird. Can you describe that devil? It was a man with dark green hair, eyes that seemed to be closed, and a strangely gentle expression on his face all the time, Rainier explained. Do you know him, Aisha-chan? Actually, Rainier-san's description is very similar to the devil I saved. Raphael, can you draw a sketch that fits the description? Raphael confirmed. Then I took a piece of paper and put my hand on it, letting Raphael do its thing. And I showed the picture formed on the paper to Rainier and Aisha. Is this the person you are talking about? Yes. That is the devil I spoke of. Afterwards, I created a communication magic circle and called my sister. Hi No-chan. Did you miss your sister so much? Seafall said. Actually, sister, I am going to send you a picture now. Do you know who the person in this picture is? Okay. I sent the picture to Seafall, and after a while, I got a response from my sister. This person is Diodora Astaroth, the next heir to their clan. Is there anything different about his peerage that is known? Oh, the only difference is that his entire peerage is made up of ex-nuns. We do not know how he did it, but the moment a priestess is excommunicated, he finds them and adds them to his nobility, Seafall said. I see. Thank you. Anything for my little No-chan. Then we closed the conversation and I went back to the girls. Well, the person in this picture is Diodora Astaroth, heir to the Astaroth clan. Aisha-chan, this guy may have actually purposely gotten you kicked out of the church. Who? Well, this guy's entire peerage is made up of ex-nuns. Whenever a priestess is excommunicated, she constantly joins his peerage. It also strengthens the possibility that he told Rainier about you shortly after you were excommunicated. Aisha started crying. After all, she was a girl who was not too involved in the dark side of the world. Aisha was expelled from the church because of that man, and he did it on purpose. I went to Aisha and started patting her head. Noir-san, what about the other girls? So you are still thinking about them after what you have been through, I thought. Probably something similar happened. Noir-san, if I join your peerage, can you save those girls? I can. Then I will join your peerage, Aisha said. Well, rest for now. We can do it tomorrow if you want. Better done now. Okay. I put Aisha on the couch. Mittel gave Aisha a white nightgown to wear, and I used the mutated bishop piece. A magic circle appeared where Aisha lay and soon disappeared as the bishop piece entered Aisha's body. When the procedure was completed, Aisha opened her eyes. I do not feel anything different. Do not worry, you will find out in the morning. It will perform the piece function when you sleep. Oh, I see. I am in your care, Noir-san. Do not worry. We also need to enroll you in school. I will talk to my sister. Then I called Sona. She was pretty excited that I had my first peerage member and decided that we were going to have a party tonight. She then invited Rias to a phone call and they decided to party in the Occult Research Club room tonight. But even though the party was for me and Aisha, I was given the job of bringing the sweets. So I needed to prepare dessert for a party held for me. Then I told Saiful as well, because if we did not tell her and she did not come to the party where I got my first peerage member, she would probably wage war on heaven or blow up a few islands in the human world. Although Sona did not want to, she had to accept it, because she knows all too well what Saiful is capable of. After I prepared all the desserts and put them in the fridge, I went to take care of unfinished business. Hello, Fried. We meet again, I said with a smile. You? Anyway, goodbye. Beelzebub. Before Fried could even react, he was absorbed by Beelzebub. Fried Selzen has been successfully absorbed. Congratulations, you have acquired the skill Holy Sword Wielder. The skill was absorbed by Weapon Lord Sword. Well, this skill is good. It will help me a lot. Also, let us take the equipment. So I got the Exorcist gun and a few hundred rounds. I also took spare swords and weapons. After all, the dead do not need such things. Also, since Fried was a human, he had very little magic power in his body. Thanks to his training, he could kill devils. Black lightning. I came out of Fried's hiding place and destroyed the abandoned house using black lightning. All right, let us go back. Chapter 26. After feeding Fried to Beelzebub, I returned home. At home, Kalawana said that Rainer passed out again. Wondering why, I entered the house and saw that Ophis was at home. I think Rainer met Ophis. Rainer had passed out unconscious from a sitting position on the sofa, but Ophis was just sitting next to her watching television, unconcerned. Ophis, how are you? When did you come back? Just now, Ophis answered. Noir-sama, Ophis-sama has been here for half an hour, Kalawana answered. After all, the concept of time must be short for someone who has lived for eternity. I see. Ophis, there is a party tonight. Would you like to join? Party? Yes, for getting my first peerage member. Oh, there will also be some of the desserts I made. I will come, Ophis responded quickly. This gluttonous dragon. All right, we will be leaving soon. So I went back to my room because there was something I wanted to do. Raphael, I need you to become a Manas from today, so I will name you. Master, are you sure? Yep. From today, you will be known as Tomo, my loyal servant and assistant. Notice, Manas Tomo has been born. Hello dear master, thanks for naming me. I am your assistant and servant, Tomo. I am not afraid to be more if you want. And as a result, this energetic person, Tomo, my Manas, was born. I look forward to working with you, Tomo. Me too, master. Also, master, leave the strengthening of your soul to me. I will protect your soul from any threat. Also, my memories from when I was Wisdom Lord Raphael are still there, so if you want a skill from your memories, I can start working on creating it. You did something weird again, didn't you? Drake said. Oh Drake-chan, I will do the analysis of your wandering soul as fast as I can so that you can go to bed with the master as soon as possible. I am pretty sure Drake's face is red right now, meaning the Red Dragon Emperor's face is painted crimson. Yes, Tomo, I want you to start creating the body double skill. I will start right away, Master. Skill body double created successfully. I finished, Master. You are pretty fast, ho. It is my job to fulfill my master's requests in the fastest and most successful way, Master. May I also know your next purpose? Demon Lord Evolution. I am starting to create a way to achieve true Demon Lord Evolution, Master. For this, I will arrange the skills and spirits necessary. Freed cells and soul were stored for use in true Demon Lord Evolution. Alright, but let me know before you make changes to the skills. I stock up on skills that I will need in the future. I understand, Master. So I left the room and decided to take everyone to the Occult Research Club room as the time had come. I hid all the sweets in Beelzebooth. Noir-sama, shall I create the teleportation circle? Calawarna asked. No need. Tomo, do it. I am doing it right now, my dear master. Afterwards, a magic circle formed just below us, so that I, Ophis, Aisha, Calawarna, Mittelt, and Rainair were teleported to the Occult Research Club room via the teleportation chamber. Everyone was surprised at our sudden appearance because the magic circle was unlike any clan or race magic circle they knew. Then I brought the desserts to the table, and soon Sona and her peerage arrived. Just as someone noticed Sayafall was missing in the room, a magic circle formed and Sayafall stepped out. No-chan, congratulations on your first peerage member. As soon as Sayafall came out of the magic circle, she jumped on me. Rainair was breaking out in a cold sweat. The person standing before her was indeed Sayafall Leviathan, one of the 4 great Mao, and Rainair had attacked someone who was in the peerage of Sayafall Leviathan's brother. Although Noir did not care, Rainair did not know what Sayafall would do. But unlike Rainair, Aisha was looking at Sayafall with interest and admiration. One reason was that Aisha had always thought of the Mao as a cold-hearted person, but here Sayafall seemed like an energetic older sister who loved her siblings very much. Sister, let me introduce you to my peerage member, Aisha Argento, I said. Afterwards, Sayafall went to Aisha and started to examine her. Nice to meet you. I am the Mao Sayafall Leviathan. Call me Leviathan, she said with sparkles. Nice to meet you, I am Aisha Argento. She bit her tongue, everyone in the room thought, suppressing a smile and the urge to laugh. Don't be nervous, Aisha-chan. You can call me Sarah-tan or Levi-tan, Sayafall said encouragingly, holding Aisha's shoulders in an energetic tone. Afterwards, Sayafall started meeting everyone in the room. No-chan, that means you have new fallen angels. Hello, I am the Mao Sayafall Leviathan. Call me Leviathan. Hello, Sayafall-sama, Calawarna said. Hello, I am the fallen angel Mittelt. Mittelt said in her usual energetic tone. The two are very similar in behavior, I thought. Hello, my name is Rainair, Rainair said nervously. Don't be nervous. If no-chan forgives you, it is fine with me. Afterwards, Mittelt and Sayafall took a seat to talk about cosplay and started chatting. Meanwhile, Ophis had already started dinner with Koneko. Ophis had reduced her presence to almost 0, so it was next to impossible to spot her unless you looked directly in her direction. And so the party started and ended a few hours later. Akino was constantly giving me sultry looks. When the party was over, Ria spoke up. Noir, Aisha-chan, soon the forest of familiars will open and you will have to get your familiars. Okay. After answering, we returned home. As I returned to my room to change, Ophis entered my room. What happened, Ophis-chan? I want to give you a blessing. Who? I want to give you my blessing. Chapter 27. Ophis, why do you want to give me a blessing? I asked. Because I want to. But I will not join the Chaos Brigade, okay? Ophis really looked like she wanted to give me her blessing. And although her facial expression did not change much, she was giving me puppy dog eyes. Ophis nodded in agreement. So what should I do? I asked. Just stand still. Then Ophis soared into the air and brought her face up to mine, connecting our lips before I could even react. And Ophis began to deepen the kiss. But I am not one to give up easily, so I kissed her back. Suddenly the door opened and Kalawarna and Mittel looked at us from the doorway. Sorry for interrupting, Kalawarna said and closed the door. Ophis and my lips parted. Ophis-chan, what were you trying to do? I was giving you my blessing, but then I felt a strange feeling. And I continued. What was that feeling? It was probably affection and romance. Affection? Ophis asked. A kind of deep attraction between people, usually meant for forming a close bond, I explained gently, keeping it simple for someone new to the concept. So I wanted to form a close bond with you. Maybe. After all, sometimes these feelings can pop up suddenly. I must learn more, Ophis thought. Then Ophis left the room. Master, you had a really fun time. I cannot wait for my turn. This little dragon thinks so too, doesn't she? Tomo said, pointing at Drake. Hey, are you talking about me? I have no interest in that sort of thing. Drake shouted. Leave it to me, Master. I will train this little dragon and do my best to build your dream team. Tomo, what happened to the blessing? Oh, I am showing you, Master. The blessing of the Ouroboros dragon Ophis has been received. Master, if you wish, I can extract a skill from this blessing that will be of great use to you. Okay. Go ahead. Origin Skill Magicule Breeder Reactor has been created thanks to the blessing of the Ouroboros dragon Ophis. Congratulations on acquiring your first Origin skill. Bound Skill Stardust Energy has been acquired. Master, you will no longer have to worry about running out of magic power. Tomo, you are the best. Thank you, Master. I am ready to do anything to serve you. So I got my first Origin skill. And thanks to this skill, I will have no trouble using Wrathful King Satanarel. This is great. Oh, thanks to this, I can constantly increase my strength during a fight using Satanarel without ever running out of magic power. If the energy from Satanarel is absorbed by the boosted gear and boosts me. I have created a perfect skill combo. I started laughing like a mad scientist. Hey, you are getting creepy, Drake warned me. Gah. Oh, I got carried away. And so, after I changed, I got ready for bed. I lay on my bed and slept. This time it was only Kalawarna and Mittel sleeping nearby. Kalawarna and Mittel said that Ophis was watching TV, while Rainier and Aisha were sleeping in other rooms. Something inside me says something unexpected might happen, but I hope for the best. In the morning, I woke up early again and after taking a bath, I left the room to prepare breakfast. However, I noticed a soundproof barrier. I was shocked the moment I entered the barrier. Ophis was watching TV, but there was a mature romance show playing. I do not know who turned it on, but Ophis was heavily focused and watching it. I quickly went to the TV and turned it off. Ophis was in a trance, so I immediately went to her and tried to wake her up, stroking her head. After a while, Ophis fell asleep. Master, Ophis probably fell asleep to process all the information she received, and of course your sudden shutdown had an effect. After all, her endless innocence was turned upside down overnight. I quickly went to the computer and looked at the browser history. I was really shocked because there were all kinds of strange content. It is unbelievable to watch all this in one night. I guess I underestimated this girl's curiosity and hunger for learning. I guess I will have to put a parental lock on the internet. Also, where did Ophis find that site? Oh, is Ophis-sama done with the site? When I looked in the direction the voice came from, Kalawarna had left her room and spoken up. Kalawarna, were you the one who showed Ophis this site? I asked. Yes, Noir-sama. Why? Why did you show her this site? Office Summer said she wanted to know everything about adult relationships, and I showed her this site to explain romance and intimacy. I also suggested that she put up a sound barrier while watching something, Calawarna explained. Sigh. What were you doing with this site? I am interested in adult dramas too, so I know a lot of sites like this. Sigh. What am I going to do with you girls? And while Office was sleeping, I started making breakfast. While I was making breakfast, Office woke up. Office was constantly looking at me, and the more she looked at me, the more she blushed. I also felt waves of magic power occasionally. From what I learned from Tomo, Office was putting magic power into her eyes to scan me with energy vision. As soon as she realized what she was doing, she got embarrassed and turned off the skill, but soon used it again. Being able to turn such an innocent girl into a curious researcher is unbelievable. Still, I cannot say I am embarrassed at all, so in the end, I did not care. And so we went to school. Reina wanted to come too, so she came disguised as Yuma Mono, and today was Asia's first day at school. Office already came with me. When we arrived at school, Sona created a student record for Office and placed her in the same class as Koneko in the first year. Sona also made arrangements for Aisha and Reina, disguised as Yuma, for the second year. She gave all three of them their syllabi and accompanied them to their classes. Chapter 28. Thanks to Sona, Office went to the same class as Koneko. Aisha and Yuma Mono went to the same class as Eika Kiryu and Issei. When I came to school, I realized that Eika has magic power in her, so maybe I can take Eika into my peerage. But first, we have to go to the Forest of Familiars tonight. So I went back to class with Sona and Tsubaki. The lessons continued until lunch break, and I have to admit that lectures are very boring. Chatting with Tomo was the only way I could endure boring lectures. When the teacher asked questions, Tomo would tell me the answer. Okay, I am cheating, but it is hard for me to put up with something this boring. Actually, that is why I admire Akino, Rias, Sona, and Tsubaki, as well as the rest of the class. I do not have to listen to the lecture thanks to Tomo, but the others do not have such a shortcut. After all, I had learned all these lessons in the underworld before, and now it is so boring to listen to material below my level. With all these thoughts, time passed until lunch break. I decided to pick up Aisha and Reina first, then Office, and go to lunch. So I went to Aisha and Reina's class first. I could call them if I wanted, but it is better this way. The door of the classroom was open, and Aisha and Reina were chatting with Eika when I looked through the doorway. Issei, on the other hand, was acting strangely from afar and saying perverted things about girls. Oh, Noir-senpai, Aisha said and walked towards me. Noir-senpai. Reina approached me using senpai because I told her at school that she should address me that way instead of Sama. Oh, you must be the dark prince of the school. I didn't think I would meet you like this. Hello girls. By the way, who are you? My name is Eika Kiryu. I am a friend of Aisha-chan and Yuma-san, Eika introduced herself. I see. My name is Noir Leviathan. So the name of a demon from one of the 72 pillars is your last name? Yeah, I hear that a lot. If you have nothing to do during lunch break, would you like to dine with us? Eika looked at the other girls, then at me and made a fist with one hand, slapping the palm of her other hand. So you are calling me to hang out, senpai? What else can I expect from the girl nicknamed Perverted Glasses? It is nothing like that, and there is another person who will join us, I said. Oh, a bigger group. Senpai, you really have impressive stamina. Let us go. Afterwards, Eika did not even listen to what I was going to say and we set off. Of course, Aisha did not quite understand what was going on. We went to Office class and saw that Office was being showered with questions by dozens of girls. Even though Office does not change her facial expressions much, it was obvious that she was uncomfortable. Hi girls. Excuse me, but Office, will you come to lunch with us? I walked into the classroom and approached the crowd of girls. Noir? I will. Ophis immediately got up from her desk and came over to me. The girls were stunned and stared at us as we left the classroom with Ophis. In the classroom, the girls whispered to each other. Did you notice that they address each other without formal titles? Wait, don't tell me, are they dating? Ophis-chan. Our school's dark prince, Noir-senpai. The classroom erupted in gossip and rumors. Meanwhile, the five of us went out to the school rooftop terrace. The reason I invited Eika was to ask her a few questions. Tomo, is there a way to evolve my illusion skill? There is, Master. I can transform Donaseek's soul, which was previously consumed by Beelzebub, into energy, and use that energy to transform your illusion skill into hypnosis skill. Alright, but first, can you show me my status? Here it comes, Master. Name, Noir Leviathan. Race, Devil. Title, Ultimate Class Devil. Demonic power, 60,200. Skills. Origin skills, Magicule Breeder Reactor. Manas, Tomo. Ultimate skills, Lustful King Asmodeus, Gluttonous King Beelzebub, Prideful King Lucifer, Greedy King Mammon, Slothful King Belphegor, Wrathful King Satanarel, Envious King Leviathan, Wisdom Lord Raphael, Sea Serpent of the End, Weapon Lord Sword, passive, Weapon Lord Gauntlets, passive. Unique skills, Master Chef. Extra skills, Magic Sense, Black Flame, Black Lightning, Body Double, Soul Stamp. Innate skills, Appearance Manipulation, Evil Pieces Activation, Illusion, Audio-Visual Communication, Pressure, Summoning, Language, Regeneration, Water Manipulation, Power of Destruction, Ice Manipulation, Flight. Resistances, Passive Abnormal Condition Resistance, Natural Effects Resistance, Holy Demonic Attack Resistance, Destruction Power Resistance, Pain Resistance, Physical and Spiritual Attack Resistance. Equipment, Boosted Gear. Points, 9,900,300. All right then, do it. The soul of the fallen angel Donaseek is being transformed into energy. Successful. The resulting energy is used to evolve the illusion skill. Successful. Innate skill illusion has evolved into extra skill hypnosis. All right then. Hypnosis. As soon as I used the skill, my eyes briefly flashed red, and as a result, Eika fell under hypnosis. Noir-san, what are you doing? Aisha asked. I do not mean anything bad. I am just going to ask a few questions. Eika has magic power in her body, so she has the potential to become a mage in the future. Ophis and Rainier did not mind. All right, Eika. Do you believe in the existence of the supernatural world? I asked. Yes, Eika answered smoothly. So what do you think about devils? Nothing special. I do not know them well, so I do not have a strong opinion. I see. Then what would you do if I told you that I am a devil? I would be impressed and ask you dozens of questions. What if I told you that I want to transform you and add you to my team? I would observe you first, and if you meet my criteria, I would accept. From my observations so far, I am inclined to accept. Your observations so far? I am talking about your overall charisma and leadership. Rainier tried to stop her laughter, while Aisha did not quite get the point. Most surprisingly, Ophis was casting magic power into her eyes again, scanning my energy signatures. Well then, that is enough questions for today. I cancelled the hypnosis and we started eating again, bringing the lunch break to an end. I sent everyone to their classes, but I could not stand sitting through those lectures myself anymore. Tomo, use the body double skill and send a copy of me to class. I will leave answering questions to you. Understood. So I sent a clone to class and laid down on the sofa in the occult research club room. I left all the remaining lessons to my clone and rested in the meantime. In the evening, it was time for us to go to the Forest of Familiars. Of course, I got scolded a bit by Sona for sending my clone to lectures, but it was still worth it.